Today's podcast is from a clinic talk at the Kansas Football Coaches Association clinic from head coach at TCU, Gary Patterson. The title of his clinic was How to Be a Head Coach. And in this section, he talks about the idea of if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So I think this is a great motivational message. It's a great reflection as we head into the season and as you move forward in your career. The entire talk is available on CoachTube. The link is in the show notes. Here's Coach Gary Patterson.
As far as moving forward, and I think people just become average. And it says if your dreams don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. And I'll give you a great example. I asked a guy working at our physical plant here at TCU a long time ago. I mean, the guy was always, could fix anything. You name it, he was always the guy they seemed to send. And I asked him, I said, why is it that you don't just start your own business? And he said, Coach P, I'll be honest with you. He said, I just like working 8 to 5, go home on Fridays, and I don't have any other responsibility. If I need to make extra money, I'll work on Saturday and Sunday. I'll pick up extra jobs. And, you know, that always has resonated with me through the years of understanding that I think it's one of the things you have to ask yourself is just the people you hire, because not everybody on your staff can be a chief, and not everybody. So you have to have people that are that what they do, they love doing what they do, and that's important. That those people do that, and they're proud of doing it, and they're not looking to become some difference. And then you need to have those that maybe someday could take over your job and keep things going further. And we've got young coaches that I think that we have. But really, every department, I would say why TCU's been able to land the test of time, whether it be academics, training room, equipment room, strength room, video, you name it. I think we're very good, and we're all on the same page. We all have the same movement of trying to become as good as we can be in what we're in charge of. And that's what I tell people all the time, the 4 pillars. Everybody talks about coaching staff. If I was ever going to take a different job and move into one, those are the four parts that I'd make sure that I went and talked to, because obviously the guy didn't stay there. How does your doctors, trainers, administration, how do they look at injuries? How do they look at getting kids back and taking care of them and all the things that go into safety of a young man playing the game? But also understanding that you're trying to put a system together, a formula that you can win by doing that. And then how you do things in the off season, your strength program, and how they feel about things. Are you on the same page? How you lift, how you run, what's the mental mindset of what you're trying to teach the kids when they're in the off season. Even the equipment room, the kids hang around. They hang around there all the time. You know, you could say, well, that shouldn't make a difference. But to be honest with you, if you have somebody that's not on the same page, he's not happy with how you got your program, how you coach, what our goals and what we're trying to achieve and objectives, then you got somebody saying something opposite. So it's really important. All those people are in our meetings, to be honest with you, early in the morning. And I think they need to be included. They need to understand. You know, and you could even say, you talk about our video group of understanding, well, at the end of the season, who's the ones that are putting together highlight films to get your kids scholarships? And do they pay attention? Because you wouldn't think it or not, but so many of our kids, even at our level, are in there. And those guys are helping them go through their clips and cutting out the good plays, bad plays. They talk to film people all over the nation. They probably have as much of a network as anybody does of what kind of kids we have, and if they're a good player or not a good player. And so what are they saying? So I think you have to make sure that you don't lose touch with how everybody feels about what's going on. Remember this, and kids forget this because everybody wants it to happen right now. But greatness happens in a place and time when hard work and dreams meet. I would say growing up in that town of Roselle, Kansas, I learned how to work hard. I did not at that time know how to dream. And I think, and I know a lot of kids nowadays that come from other places, they know how to dream, but when they get here, they don't really know how to work hard. And so how do we get to a point to where we teach them and try them together? And that's what I had to learn as a young coach. Yeah, it was good that I knew how to work hard, but if you don't work smart and you don't have some objectives where you're trying to get to, you just stay in place. So how do you do that? How do you do that so you can help everybody that's helped you become successful? How do you help them become and achieve everything that they want to achieve? Because that's at the end of the day, it's kind of like Christmas. I'm one of these guys, I really don't care what I get. It's a lot more fun for me see everybody else happy in the room and they got what they wanted. How do you help everybody get to where they want to be and be successful, so that they can do the same thing that I've been able to do, or whoever you are. And the last things that in your program, and I call them the non-negotiables, is you got to master the things that take no talent. I mean, if kids don't want to work hard, in our case, they want to go to class, they don't want to lift weights, or they don't want to spend extra time honing their craft, then it's going to be very, very hard, to be honest with you. It's going to be very, very hard for them to become successful. And not everybody, maturity-wise, is going to be the level where they want to turn it on right now. That's why one of the groups I always am interested in is coaches' sons, because, they see it their whole life, and they've already been put in that chute of going a certain direction because they had to watch their dad and kids they played with do and play and go about things. And so for me, it's, again, working very hard, I think, of getting outside the box. If you want to stay somewhere 24 years, you've got to keep changing. But it's going to be very important about how people look at you. And then also how important it is that you look at yourself. And your players look at you. And, through the years, that's all ebb and flow. That's why a guy like Bobby Bowden that coached for some 60 years and see how the music changed and the hairstyles changed and the personalities changed. Somebody to coach that long and be able to handle all that, just truly amazing. Guys that have done that. And many of you guys have coached for a long time, and how you've been able to last the test of time. And so I think it becomes important for all of us to be able to see that and understand.
Thanks again for listening to the Coach and Coordinator podcast. Again, Coach Patterson's entire talk is available on the Kansas Football Coaches Association channel on CoachTube. I put the link in the show notes. Follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com and follow me on Twitter at Coach K. Grabowski.